Hi, I'm Michael Fry, and I'm from Troop 348. I'm a Star Scout working on my life. But right now I'm going to be teaching you first class requirements 3A, 3B, 3C, and 3D. So the first thing we have to learn before we can start is the language of knots, which if you want to turn your book to page 364 of the Scout book, and it'll get you to the tools section where you'll find the language of knots. First term we're going to learn is called the running end, and this is the end of the rope that's used to tie the knot. It's also called the working end. Pretty easy. Now the standing end is the rest of that rope, the rope that you're not using. An overhand loop is where the running end is on top of the standing end, like so. A underhand loop is where the standing end is, the running end is underneath the standing end, like that. Now a bite is when you take the running end and you double back on the standing end, and it's a U-shaped. It's called the bite, and the bite also makes the I, which is this. And a turn is when you wrap the pole or wrap the rope around the pole once. And just for this, we're going to need a hitch. A hitch is a knot that secures the rope to a pole. Also, the last term is called shaping your knot, or dressing your knot. It's where after you've finished with the knot, you either pull it tight or push it together to make it look like what that's not supposed to be. So that's called dressing the knot, turning it from where it doesn't really look like the knot to where you got the knot. The next thing we're going to learn is the language of lashings, which if you want to turn your pages, the page in the book, a few more pages, it is on page 372. So, a pole is a long, anything anyway, a long stick that you're going to use to tie your lashings to. And these ones, I have short ones so that we don't have to mess with the long ones. Then you have what's called a wrap, which we're later going to learn is the beginning of the lashing. It's where you're actually keeping these right here. These are the wraps. It's where you're keeping the you're basically tying these two poles together is using the wraps. And a frap are these outside things used to make the lashing tighter. So after you've tied your wraps, you go around like this. These two, I don't know if you can see it right here. You go around like this, and those are your wraps, and you pull it tight, and it keeps that lashing tight. So that's the terminology of what we're going to teach you. And now we're going to go into the actual teaching of the timber hitch, clove hitch, and all three lashings. Okay, so the timber hitch is the first knot we're going to learn. This knot is used to pull heavy logs around that you want to, they might be too heavy to carry. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the standing end and run it up the log like this. Then you're going to take your running end and run it around the log. You want to keep your standing end up here. Then you're going to go over, sorry, I need a bit more rope here. You're going to go over the standing end and wrap it around and for extra friction, like this. Then you're going to pull it tight. And that grips the knot a lot, and it's able for you to have a lot of friction where you can pull the knot. That's a timber hitch. So the clove hitch is the next knot we're going to learn. This knot's used to begin and end lashings. That's mostly its use. So you're going to take your running end and wrap it around the pole, like this. Then you're going to cross over the other side, like that. And you're going to take your running end, like this. I'm going to need a bit more. more here, and then you're going to tuck it under the overlapped side, like that. Then you're going to pull it tight, and then you're going to shape it, kind of push it together like that, tighten it. Now that's a clove hitch. Now if you see, the end that's coming out, your running end, is in the middle, and your standing end is also in the middle on the other side, and that's a clove hitch. So this is going to be a pole. It's nice and straight, and it's a sapling, which they're nice. If you're going to cut a tree down or a sapling down, get permission with the landowner before you do so, and make sure nobody's in your perimeter. I'm going to start cutting now. Pull it out, make sure the saw's safe. Then, after you're done, take it to a nice cutting area we can cut off all of these. So now we're going to learn a square lashing. Square lashing is used for binding together two poles, or in this case we're doing sticks, that cross each other and touch. So the first thing we're going to do here is tie a clove hitch on one pole. So I'm going to use this one here. We already learned how to tie a clove hitch. I'm going to get a bit more. Then, after you have your clove hitch, you're going to take your other pole and put it on top of it. Cross it over, so like that. Then you're going to take your rope here, wrap it around this side, go under here and over here. Now you do that 3 times. So 1, already got 1 done. 2. And that's 3. Okay, now you're going to take it, you're going to wrap it twice in what's called a frap, which we already learned. 1, 2. Now there's your fraps and your wraps. It's nice and snug, they're both touching, and it keeps them together. And then you're going to finish off by tying a clove hitch to this pole. You can tie it on this side or this side. I'm going to go ahead and tie it on this side, but you can tie it wherever. Right here. All right. There we go. Now just shape up your clove hitch. It might be a little on there. Shape up that clove hitch. There you have it. Your square lashing with the end of a clove hitch. Okay, so now we're going to learn the diagonal lashing, which this lashing is used for when you want to tie 2 poles together, but they cross, but they don't touch. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tie a timber hitch between these 2 poles. I would advise doing it on the ground because timber hitches are hard to tie with 2 poles. So I already taught you how to do the timber hitch. Wrap it around and tuck it in and out. So, alright, then you're going to pull tight. Pull it tight here. That. There you go. You have your timber hitch. Then, now, you're going to, the diagonal where your timber hitch is going this way, you're going to make 3 diagonal wraps the other way. So your timber hitch is going this way, we're going to wrap this way. So keep it on the ground so your poles don't leave you. You have 1, you have 2, and you have 3. Now you can wrap it around this pole and go the other way. And you go 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to take it and you're going to make a frap twice, which makes it nice and sturdy here. Let's get the end of the rope uncoiled. There we go. I'm going to go 1, 2 here. And then you're going to finish with the clove hitch on the on the any pole you want. I'm going to go ahead and make it here. And you can shape up that clove hitch. And there is your diagonal lashing, nice and tight. The last lashing we have to do is called the shear lashing. This lashing is used when you're making a nice, sturdy triangle. You can make it, it's also called the A-frame. So, the first thing you're going to do is tie a clove hitch on one of the poles. I'm going to choose to do it on this pole. Tie it down a little bit from the stick because we're going to be working our way up. You got your clove hitch. Now you're going to make 8 to 10 figure 8s between the two. So like this. Keep them nice and together. You want to keep it tight. Like this. See? Figure 8. Just go figure 8 pattern. Like that. Keep them nice and tight. So after you're finished with your figure 8s, you're going to do 2 fraps around it. Like so. See, there's 1 frap. These fraps need to be keep them really tight. Then tie a clove hitch off on the other pole. There you go. You have a shear lashing. And you can stand it up and it makes a really nice A-frame where you can tie a triangle here for whatever you have the use. Alright, so now we're on to the 4th part, which is First Class Requirement 3D. And this is building a camp gadget. Now, so if you see, my camp gadget is a tripod. I built the tripod over there and not directly over the fire so the rope doesn't burn, and also you have multiple places to put your pots. Now, you also have a nice hat rack if you fall into the river, which never actually happened to me. Well, anyway, you can make whatever you want. My older brother made a nice gateway with a turnstile in a camp up in Randsburg. So it was pretty cool, but you can build whatever you want. A chair, I mean, all kinds of different things. And I think this is what Scouts is. So, thanks to my older brother for making the videos, thanks to my little brother for building up the fire, and thanks to my mom for support, and my dad kicking my butt through this. Bye!